Marking up material with markers and labels. Now, I promised to tell you about markers and how to use them a long time ago. Markers are a very simple thing that allows you to mark up the material. For example, we take this video. If we don't have a 30-second video, but an hour-long interview, then we can mark it with markers. Markers can be placed on both clips and sequences. When we have nothing highlighted on the timeline, we will put a marker that appears on the clip. When a clip is selected, we will press M to edit marker. In principle, it makes it easier to navigate the material, to see where and what markers we have, to highlight important points. What additional abilities do markers have? You can disable or enable the display of markers in the settings on the source panel. Show markers. We click the marker once, then click the second time, and we will see the marker settings window. We can write text in the name column. If we mark up an interview, then, of course, here we will write some key phrase. Markers have a duration. The marker can be marked as a point, or it can have a length. We can spread it out here, and it will become like this. Or I can take it directly on the source panel. This is a hint that very few people know about. If you click on it with a pressed Alt key, you can grab it, push it apart and give it a length. If you click on it without the Alt key, we can grab it and move it. In the window, we enter the text that will be visible on the screen later. The text doesn't be rendered, but we can see what we have here. Also, the markers come in different colors: red, blue, green, etc. All other parameters are not particularly important, because before each color was assigned its own function when the Encore DVD still existed. This program was included in Adobe and allowed us to record DVDs, create beautiful menus, mark chapters up, etc. Now this is no longer relevant because the DVD is a thing of the past. Therefore, it's useful to use different colors of markers to mark up the necessary information. Where is the marker information stored? Information about the markers that are placed on the clip can be stored in two ways. The first option is in the media source. They are attributed in the metadata of the clip. The second option is in the project file. Each of these methods has its pros and cons. You can select the desired option in Edit, Preferences, General. In the Media tab, you can find the right clip markers to XMP checkbox. By default, it's enabled, but I disable it because a different organization of material is important for my project. When is it important to edit a marker into a clip? XMP means that if a video format allows you to write metadata inside it, it will be attributed to the metadata. If it doesn't allow it, it will create an XMP file next to this file that will record metadata about these markers. What is it useful for? When a lot of people work on one project on the same source material that are stored in one place, they all will connect to it, and one of the employees can put a marker about important or unnecessary information or about a good frame. Another person will upload these media sources to his project and will be able to see all these markers. The first person knows all these markers and attributed them in the source material so that others can use them. I removed them because I was working on the project alone and my media sources were in several places. Half is stored on the computer and the other half is on the external drive, in order for me to open this project somewhere else. Then I will see all these markers that are attributed to the project file and not in the media sources. It's convenient. Thus, if you have media sources that are used by different people, then it will be better to attribute all these markers in the metadata. If there are one person and many identical media sources on different disks, then it will be better to store information about markers in the project. Because if we connect to some media sources, we'll see these markers, but we will not see them to other media sources. We don't need this, so it's better to attribute them in the project itself. In other cases, it's useful to use them in the media sources. You need to know about it and apply it when you work in a large team. The second thing allows you to mark up the editing and source materials in different variations. There is such a thing as color labels. I can take the clips and by right-clicking on them, select the label with a desired color. When we have a large project and there is a need to label video with blocks, then we can paint everything in different colors and see clearly the entire plot of a project. I see scene 1, scene 2, the balance where I need to remove something or edit something, etc. The colored markers help you navigate it. Moreover, it's possible to paint clips both on the timeline and in the media sources on the project panel. But the second option is not convenient because we see only small icons. On the other hand, if we highlight the videos before editing with a color label and move them to the timeline, they will be colored. Sometimes it's useful to divide the material before working, but these actions are not retroactive. If we repaint the media sources on the project panel, that is already on the timeline in a different color. It will not be repainted. We go back to File, Project Settings, General. Here we have the Display Project Item Name and Label Color for All Instances checkbox that allows us to color everything in a single way. I enable this checkbox so we can see that the color of a clip on the timeline can change depending on its color on the project panel. We can change the color marker of the same video both on the timeline and on the project panel. They will change in any case. If we enable the checkbox, our colors will be synchronized. If the checkbox is not enabled, then there will be no synchronization. We also have customization options. Each clip type has its own color. By default, for example, a video without sound has a purple color, a video with sound has a blue color, a sequence has a green color, and usual pictures or static images created by us have a pink color, etc. They have their own color. There is a separate label folder in Edit Preferences, where we have all the colors that we can use. We can also edit other colors. Let's say I don't like brown color and I want to change it to orange. This color will mean, for example, that everything is bad. And here we can assign default color values for each file type. Let's say that still is images. By default, it's lavender. There is a violet color in videos without sound, an iris color in videos with sound, etc. We can reassign any colors according to our own preferences. In general, there is a tool for configuring it. If you configure it once according to your taste and then constantly synchronize these settings via the cloud to other computers, it can make your life more joyful and cozy. But I mostly use painting on the timeline. That's the story with labels and markers.